Well, Terry, authorities tell us that the most serious or perhaps the most dangerous kind of devil worship comes in the form of underground cults. Most of them are very secretive, usually organizing clandestine rituals in the dark of night. Well, those ceremonies sometimes involve the sharing of animal blood to gain power, they say, but cult members believe their strength really comes from secrecy.
It's our secrecy that keeps us powerful. It's our secrecy that keeps us powerful. It's our secrecy that keeps us powerful.
The Satanic Panic, a time in history where anyone you know could be a Satanist child molester. Think twice before you put your children in the hands of preschools or daycares, as they could very well be sent to Satanist islands and undergo pornographic filmmaking, animal sacrifices, and rituals awakening demons. This was a belief that knocked any sense and logic out of many Americans in the 80s. Many people today argue whether or not the Satanic Panic was one of the many witch hunts in America's history, another notch in the belt. My stance in this argument is that it was indeed a witch hunt, and to help me prove that, I will be comparing the Satanic Panic to the Crucible and even to Salem, one of the most infamous and literal witch hunts, to show the symmetry between these two events. The year is 1980, and America is undergoing major social changes. More women are entering the workforce due to inflation, creating a necessity of 2 incomes for one household, resulting in major family dynamic shifts, with more and more people changing attitudes towards gender roles. This resulted in a boom of popularity and reliance on daycares and preschools, as now not all mothers have the time to take care of their children or be involved in their children's life as much as they used to. This created a guilt in the working class, but also a belief in the upper class that the kids in care of these daycares were unsafe and would end up as bad and troubled children. These beliefs started a slow, moldering fire that would soon be put ablaze. The Satanic Panic started with one book, Michelle Remembers. Michelle Remembers was published on November 1st, 1980 and was written by Canadian doctor Lawrence Pastor and Michelle Smith. The book follows the crazy life of Michelle Smith, more specifically her traumatic past and affiliation with satanic cults. Michelle Smith claimed that her mother had sold her to a satanic cult at the age of 5, and for 14 months she was held captive as she was tortured and forced to witness many ritual murders and mutilations, many involving babies. The public ate this up. This story was massive. Copies of this book were flung on the shelves. Michelle could be seen in numerous talk shows and even on radio stations. There was no escaping her and her story. And all of this was made possible by Dr. Lawrence Pastor, a Canadian therapist who treated Michelle into remembering all of these repressed memories that are described in Michelle Remembers. Now, there's no doubt this was just a big hoax, constructed to gain popularity, credibility, and more importantly, money, which they both very well did. But in the context of the Satanic Panic, repressed memories is the key takeaway from all of this. Repressed memories is a term always used in both victims' accounts of satanic ritual abuse and false confessions made by said abusers. One case that perfectly encapsulates this theme of repressed memories and false confessions is the Paul Ingram case that took place in Thurston County, Washington, D.C. Ingram was a chairman for Thurston County that was accused of sexual abuse by both of his daughters. Now, at first, he completely denied these allegations, but as the story gained popularity and stress from his local pastor and investigators built up, he eventually claimed that he had recovered former and repressed memories of not only him molesting his child, but also putting them in the dangers of a satanic cult. Something that the 2 daughters did not state in their claims and allegations, but went along with as soon as the statement was released. Ingram was eventually sentenced to 20 years of prison and was released in 2003, and now states that he never molested his children, and his sexual ritual abuse confessions were coarse due to the wildly inaccurate and outdated investigation tactics used on him by his therapists and pastors. We see something similar to this in the Crucible, when Mary Warren is accused of being a witch and bewitching a group of girls in Salem. The girls then act as if they are being possessed by Mary Warren in the courthouse, ultimately bringing Warren into an emotionally unstable and petrified state of the consequences that could come if she does not falsely confess of her bewitchings. The court of Salem did not help at all, as they too were using these highly inaccurate and ineffective investigation tactics, further adding on weight to the entire situation, something that wasn't uncommon during the Satanic Panic.
I'm mad at you, he says, if my wife hangs. We must go and overthrow the...
Now, a witch hunt needs a source of power and authority. In Salem and the Crucible, the power lied in the court and the reputation of the people both accused and the accusers. In the Satanic Panic, the power lied with the government and the tireless accusations of countless parents worldwide. One example of this is the trial of Ray Buckley, which is tied to an even bigger event in the Satanic Panic, the McMartin preschool trial in Los Angeles. The police were met with countless accusations from parents of their children being sexually abused and put through satanic ritual abuse. There were so many complaints that the police launched a full-on investigation, and many of the daycare operators were put on trial, one of them being Ray Buckley. Buckley was accused of putting children through satanic rituals. Buckley was put under arrest by the federal government with no real hard proof to back these accusations up, and he was placed in prison for 5 years and was released on bail before being put on trial again for another 2 years. Nevertheless, the Ray Buckley case acts an example of how the government was running off false accusations and the voice of others to imprison innocent people off of spectral evidence and no real proof of their crimes, which not only is a key part of the Salem witch trials, but also happens directly in the Crucible, where John Proctor is falsely accused of bewitchery and is imprisoned by the power and authority of that town and ultimately hangs for his crimes that he did not commit.
Mine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever.
Now, for my last example, I won't be comparing the Satanic Panic to the Crucible, but rather I will be comparing the Satanic Panic to the actual Salem witch trials. Like I had explained before, during the time of the Satanic Panic, America was going through a social change with gender roles, receiving new perspectives, but so was religion, as Christianity and Protestant religion was a rapid decline in belief and following in the late 1970s. With more and more counterculture like metal and rock bands or tabletop games such as D&D denouncing themselves from establishments like churches, building a gradual gap in religion following amongst young adults, all of this caused mass anxiety over the religious population building up before the Satanic Panic. Now, something similar to this had also happened in Salem. Before the witch trials took place, religious tensions were rising due to partisan orthodoxy clashing with older folk, God-fearing, and sin-free society beliefs. This created a tension-packed atmosphere ready to explode at any given moment, which it did. Now, taking account all the similarities and appearing patterns seen between the Crucible, Salem, and the Satanic Panic, I think my argument of the Satanic Panic being a witch hunt can stay in the realm of the truth for now. This leads me to wonder, when will America face its next infamous witch hunt? Or are we facing one right now and we just don't realize it?